Hi guys, so I thought I would do a video on my car accident and an update since the car accident and what's been going on. So I think to start off, what I'm going to do is just briefly tell you what I do for work. So I work on a crisis intervention and diversion van. It's a 24-hour service. So we work 2 days on, 2 days off, except for when we work our weekend, we work 3 days. So we work Saturday, Sunday, Monday when we work the weekend. Other than that, we work 2 days on, 2 days off. And so I spend probably 10 hours a day in a minivan going around helping people. So on the 13th of January, my partner and I got into an accident. I was in the passenger seat, he was driving. We were driving straight and someone made a left-hand turn in front of us, and neither party could swerve enough in time, so we had connection between the driver's side, our car, and the passenger's side of the other vehicle in the front. So on the day of my accident, immediately my right hand was very, very sore, my right knee was very, very sore, and my lower back was sore. So we went and did all the police report and filing, everything we had to do. Then we went back to work, and I filled out all my WCB paperwork, everything I had to. And I actually stayed at work that day until 3:30, until I left to go to the doctor. When I went to the doctor said that my right hand was just bruised and it would resolve on its own, which it has. My right knee had some fluid on it, wasn't enough to drain, and it would probably resolve on its own, and it has as well. The ongoing issue has been my back. So it started out as my lower back, and then kind of coming up the right side. And I figured that was probably from a pre-existing injury that I just flared back up. Because in 1999, I was in a really bad car accident with one of my sisters. And I had soft tissue damage in my back, my shoulder, my neck. So I figured it was just a flare-up of that. So I went to the doctor on the day of my accident, and that's what we figured it was. So what I did is I worked the next day because it was 2 days on. And then the doctor put me off the 15th and 16th of January, which gave me... Oh, sorry, I was off the 15th and 16th of January. He put me off the 17th, 18th, 19th, so that would have been the weekend. So that gave me 1 week off, hoping that my back would settle down. He put me on some naproxen, which he hoped to be successful with the inflammation and pain management, but I have to be very careful of taking naproxen because of my colitis and because of my lithium. So I could only take it twice a day when typically it can be prescribed up to, I think, 6 times a day. 4 times for sure, but I think 6 times. So that was fine. I took my week off. I went back to work the 22nd and 23rd because I would have been off the 20th and 21st. And then I was off by default the following weekend, the 24th, 26th, 24th, 25th, 26th. I worked the 27th and 28th. I was off the 29th, 30th, and all this working is working with severe pain, but trying to work through it and trying to let my back heal on its own. I was off the 29th and 30th of January. I worked the 31st and 1st. The 2nd of January, which would have been a Monday, I was unable to work. I was just in too much pain. So on the 3rd, I went back to the doctor, got another WCB form filled out, and he put me on 2 days on, 2 days off, which essentially was the same schedule I was working, except for when it came to my weekends, they were going to either have to replace me on Saturday or replace me on Monday, because I could only work 2 of those days. So then the 4th was my other day off. The 5th and 6th, I actually went to a first aid training, which I probably shouldn't have done. My doctor wasn't completely happy about because of learning the CPR and stuff. That's a real big strain in your back. But I did that because my employer couldn't get the money back, and I felt bad, which I know is stupid. I should have looked after myself, but whatever. I also now I'm certified for 3 years as well. So it was kind of a win-win, but it did really irritate my back. So the 7th, 8th, 9th, I was off by default. I worked the 10th and 11th. The 12th and 13th, I was off. The 14th, so this was going to be the last weekend that I worked. It was supposed to be the 15th, 16th, or sorry, 14th, 15th, 16th, and on the 14th, which was the Saturday, 14th of February, I was working, and about halfway through the day, I felt a pop in the middle of my back and shooting pain up until my right shoulder. I continued to work that day. I called and let the supervisor know, but I continued to work because I was like, how are they going to replace me halfway through the day? By the time we get back to our home base, someone gets there. Like, you call them, they say, yeah, I'll come. They get ready to get there. Like, it's going to be 7 o'clock anyways. So I worked through that day. I didn't work the 15th because of the popping, and then the 17th I had off by default because that's the day they had replaced me for that weekend was the Monday. And so I went on the 17th and I did an update with my doctor and sent it to WCB. Then when I dropped that off in my work, and they're like, oh, you need to do a fitness for work test. That's an internal paperwork. So I had to go on the 18th, get that done, get that all filled out in regards to what my work needed, separate from the WCB, which makes no sense to me because it was the same questions. And I had to pay to get that done, but I did that. And on there, he had said, because I was starting physio on the 20th of February, he wanted me to be off until this coming Monday, March the 9th. So 2.5-ish weeks to do physio. Well, when I went to do my physio, they can't even do anything with my back because there's so much swelling. So I've started to do massage covered by WCB. So I do each 6 days a week. I do massage and then I do physio. The only day I don't do it is Sunday. And that was supposed to hopefully bring down the swelling in my back and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the accident and what's happened in a nutshell. But then early last week, I got a letter from WCB saying, you have coverage for your massage and physio as they see fit. So as the clinic sees fit, until April the 3rd. If you need anything after April the 3rd, then you're going to have to go get an assessment at one of our back to work centers. That makes sense because that's like 6-7 weeks of physio altogether. And massage, if they can't get it straightened out in that many weeks with that often of treatment, then it would make sense that I need to see someone else. So that's fine. I'm supposed to go back to work on the 9th, which is Monday. And the other thing that has happened now is I applied for 2 jobs since my back injury, but I would have applied for them anyways because there's other issues with working 2 days on, 2 days off, 2 weeks of days, 2 weeks of overnights. Like, there are other issues with it that I would have considered applying for a job in FASD, which I did previous for almost 3 years. And a job in Housing First, which is actually run by the same manager as my current program. Because that's what I did right before I came to this position. So I applied for those 2 positions. And you apply directly to the manager at my work. A lot of times you apply through HR, but this way I applied right to the manager. So I applied to the managers and I got my first interview. And I got offered the job, and then HR turned it down because HR said that essentially they think that my doctor doesn't know what he's talking about and my therapist doesn't know what they're talking about, and so she'll put me on light duties and starting Monday until I can go back on the MAP van. Problem is I don't know that I'm ever going to be approved to go back on the MAP van. The reason for that is light duties is up to 25 pounds. Of the combination of standing and sitting. Medium duties is up to 50 pounds, which is what the MAP van is considered, which is my current job, with a combination of sitting and standing. Problem is that it's 50 pounds, and on most days you probably lift about 50 pounds, and we slam our van door about 100 times a day, literally, because about 50 people in a shift. But the other thing is I'm working with people that are chronically homeless or are chronically addicted. So a lot of times when we pick people up, especially on night shifts, they're very much under the influence, and a lot of them can dead weight into your arms. So what I mean by that is, while you're opening up the van door, or why one partner's opening up the van door, the other person is kind of supporting with your arms like this. The person's standing right here facing out, and so their elbows are in your elbows, so that if they fall, and you stand in the same stance as you do for someone that's choking, so if they fall, you can use them to the ground. Yes, okay, great, I have good posture when it comes to it. But when that happens, and that happens at least once a shift, if not more, I'm dead weighting 200, 300 pounds into my arms. So it's not a 50-pound job, it's a much more than that. So that's where my doctor, my therapist struggled, because even when I get up to 50 pounds is not a true indication of what happens in my job. So now I have to fight with WCB. They might be pulling my physio and my massage. And now, according to my HR director, I'm not going to get paid for any further time, because my doctor didn't document stuff properly, and he's not a proper doctor for this. And I asked right from the beginning, do I have to go to a WCB doctor? And they told me, no, you have to go to a licensed doctor. My doctor is 100% licensed. He's been my doctor for almost 2 years. Like, he's a fully practicing doctor. It's just silly. My physiotherapist is fully certified. My massage therapist is fully certified. And in fact, I go to a WCB approved clinic, which was hard to find in the beginning because WCB didn't want to help me do that. But they told me in order for them to direct bill, had to be a WCB approved facility, which I found out the other day from my physiotherapist. Is not that the therapists necessarily have extra training, it's what they can provide in the therapy clinic. So physiotherapy that I've done in the past, it's kind of just the beds, and then you have a little bit of weights, and then like it's just very basic. And this one has like workout equipment, and it has different types of weights, different types of beds, it's the equipment that they use is WCB certified. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but apparently they have to send me to a specialist to get a back assessment. Because as far as I can understand, WCB and HR think that I have some sort of crazy power where I can have my doctor and my physiotherapist and my massage therapist under my spell, and they're going to say what they're going to say. In fact, if my therapist had their way, I wouldn't even be going back to work on Monday. I would still be off. My doctor, because he's the one that has to sign off on it, he said, let's try light duties. Let's give it a try, because sitting at home and only going to massage and only going to physio, and then the little bit of exercise that I can do, I've been doing walking in the water. That's going to eventually affect my mental health. And the last thing I need is to have a WCB claim and then a short-term disability claim because of my mental health. That's not a good scene at all. So I'm going to try going back. But now my HR lady will not respond to me. So I don't even know where I'm supposed to be at 8:30 on Monday morning. I don't know if it's supposed to be the downtown office, which is where she is and where a lot of the modified work is, or if I'm supposed to go way out to the West End to where my work's office is and where the housing office is, and they're going to put me on light duty, so she won't respond to me. So I guess if she doesn't respond to me, then I'll just go to my normal office and they can direct me from there. So that's kind of that. That's the accident. So I still have lower back pain on both sides, more intense on the right. I have pain up my right side of my back, and I have shooting pain from the middle of my back to my right shoulder. Yes, my exercises are getting easier to do. Yes, the massage is getting easier to handle, and the trigger point massage that my physiotherapist does is getting easier to handle. But it's not a perfect science. The back, once it's hurt, as we probably all know, it's always going to be hurt. So it's a flare-up of another injury. And I just hope that we can all come together. I can go back to work on Monday on some sort of modified duty. I can continue to do my massage and my physio. Continuing to see my doctor. I have to see him every 2 weeks. That's a WCB requirement. I actually have to see him tomorrow on my birthday because I need to make sure that everything is submitted to WCB properly because they're saying it's not. So the only thing that I'm aware of that there's an issue is he did no course of treatment for my right knee, and he put that in WCB, no medical course of treatment needed, will resolve on its own. And then when I did my first follow-up, he said resolved on its own. He says he did that for my right hand as well, but for some reason the right hand is stuck in the system, wanting to know what treatment was done on it. So I know that was one error. And two, they got a new format that's because they submitted electronically, and for some reason you can't pick doctor as your profession or your credentials. No one can pick doctor. It's not just my doctor, it's all doctors. So I guess doctors don't exist anymore. So my physiotherapist, massage therapist, they've been able to put everything in normal. It submits the same day or the next day, whenever it is that they do it. But my doctor's stuff is now being flagged as he doesn't have credentials. So I know that had to get fixed too, but he was supposed to call first thing this morning and get that done. And I called today to check up on it, and they said it's a big mess. Yes, that part's been fixed, but it looks as though there's some other issues. And because my work is being so stringent on needing the paperwork, and of course WCB needs the paperwork if it's been 3 or 4 assessments and they got nothing, when they need to get it every 2 weeks, then I can see why WCB would need it right away as well. So I'm going to go tomorrow, make sure everything is good, and make sure everything's submitted up to that point, and then hopefully they'll let me continue on, go back to work, continue on with physio and massage, and hopefully my back will resolve itself. The other thing I was going to mention is the doctor switched me from taking naproxen every 12 hours, which is what I was doing originally, because I started to get some colitis symptoms about a week into the therapy, to Tylenol arthritis, which the main reason for that is that it has a slow release. So you can take it 6 times a day, 2 pills, every 6 hours. No, that's not right. Every 8 hours. I thought it was every 6 hours. So 2 pills 3 times a day. So that's 6 pills altogether. And the thing is it releases a certain amount at the beginning, and then it releases a certain amount at 4 hours. So it's Tylenol arthritis is like taking 2 of those is like taking 3 extra strength Tylenol, but it has the slow release. Extra strength Tylenol just releases all the medicine into your body within the first hour, and then your body has to figure out what to do with it. So I do that, and then when I do physio, right before I go to physio, I'll take a muscle relaxant, and then that's the only time I take them. And by doing that, so most of my pain relief and stuff coming from the Tylenol arthritis and from the exercises and from continuing to do the therapy, I'm able to control the pain for the most part. And then I take the muscle relaxant before I go to treatment so that they're able to actually do more work on me, because there's been a couple times I forgot, and like they can't touch me near as much as they normally do. Like they were able to do the one before. So I always have to remember to take naproxen. So I now have it in my bag that I take with me, because I have 2 bottles of it. So that's kind of that. If you have any questions, please leave them below. I'll do another follow-up video, maybe not next week, because next week should hopefully be my first day or a week of work, or maybe the week after. Just giving you an update on if I've lost my massage and therapy coverage, how work is going back, how HR is working, because I've also applied for another position. This is the other interesting point that I want to make before I go, is I applied for a job in the housing program that's run by my manager. I think I said that earlier. And that closed on the 28th of February. And I hadn't heard anything, so I was like, oh, okay, he was told by HR that I can't do it or whatever. I got a call last night at 9 o'clock from him, and I'm guessing that he only called me at 9 o'clock at night because he knows me, and asked me if I want to come in on Friday. I did an interview for that this Friday. So I'm very confused, because shouldn't my manager know what I have to do, like that I have to do ease back. Like, shouldn't he understand all that? Like, shouldn't he be the one being told by HR what my next steps are, since he is my direct manager? But now he's calling me saying that I can interview for this position. So I didn't say anything about what happened with the other position or anything like that. I just said, yeah, sure, what time do you want me to come in? And I worked it around my therapy, and there I'll be. But I find it very strange that he, like, if I'm not allowed to do another position, which is what HR is saying, I have to do late duties until they put me back on the MAP team, because I'm going back on the MAP team. Why he would be asking me to interview for a different position, that's kind of strange to me. But whatever. He has asked me. I'm going to go in for it. I'm going to see what happens. So that's that. That's the back injury and update. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave them below. If you have any suggestions on how to, like, home remedies for back injury, like muscle spasm stuff, leave that below. I'm trying to find as much non-medical stuff as possible. So I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.